Good afternoon, everybody. Match 18 of the 1975 Cricket World Cup on Prime Lower Cricket on PlayStation was played today. Sri Lanka versus India. Sri Lanka pull off what would have been the biggest surprise in the competition's history, or the competition's early history. They would have booked their place in the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Let us see what happened in this match. And as you can see, India looks like they've arrived at last after two disappointing matches. Sri Lanka won the toss, elected to bowl on a green pitch at Leeds in overcast conditions. Exactly the same pitch that the West Indies bowled the United Arab Emirates out for 103 on the other day. Yesterday even, my apologies. And this is what happened. India producing a very strong display. Very strong display of the bat, nearly sat on a bit of paper. This is how the innings happened. Made 291 for 750 overs, 23. Another slow innings for Sunil Gavaskar, but he got out again when he looked good. 14 for Enkaf Solkar, 19 for Anshuman Gaywad, 52 off 90 deliveries for Ganupa Vishnath, but he was dropped twice by the Sri Lankans. But then the innings really started taking off. 32 from Bidash Patel of 17 deliveries. That really started the innings off. 32 off 16 deliveries for wicketkeeper Farooq Engineer, getting some runs. Abid Ali got 16 off 10 towards the end. 4 not out for Madan Lal. But look at that innings from Mohinder Amarnath. 92 of 66 deliveries. They hit 120. They hit 182 runs from the last 22 overs. So they went at 9 and over in the last 2 overs. They were at one stage 100 for 2 or 100 for 3 from about 28 overs, and they went ballistic in the final 22 overs. Absolutely sensational batting. India's highest total, not only in the World Cup, but in their one-day international history. These bowling figures do not read too well. There was 23 for 0 for... Sorry, I want to get my names right, because obviously I'm using them as aliases. 23 for 0 for Haruna Rashinga. 2 for 59 for Tony Opatha. He bowled Mevin Perez, who have been some of the star bowlers in the tournament, did start off well. They only conceded 39 runs in the first 10 overs, but they both got whacked. 59 for 2 for Tony Opatha. Mevin Perez, 65 for 1. 53 for 1 for Bandula Wunapula. 42 for 48 for Shomachara De Silva. 24 for 0 for Lalith Kulapalma, and 14 for 0 for Ajit De Silva in his first match. There was no Sunil Wetwemi today. The leading run score in the tournament, 254 runs in 3 innings. Magnificent performance, 350s in 3 matches. He got a broken toe, but it's now looks like he got a broken toe when he was batting in the next yesterday. Sunil Wetwemi. This is a guy which has played unbelievable cricket. He got hit on the foot and we thought he broke his toe, but it looks like he's broken his foot. So it looks like Sunil Wetwemi, with 254 runs in 3 matches, is out of the World Cup. That is a massive blow for Sri Lanka, as he has been one of the star players in the tournament, not just for Sri Lanka, but in this tournament. And this is what happened in response. No Sunil Wetwemi with that potentially broken foot. He's out for the rest of the tournament, so he didn't open the batting, and look what happened there. They were all out for 138 in 40.3 overs. Never have I seen psychologically that seems to have caused massive damage to Sri Lanka, because they got absolutely outclassed for the first time in the tournament, and their batting absolutely went to pieces. Good bowling from India, but my goodness me. 21 for Ranjit Fernando, first failure of the tournament. Bandula Wunapula got 2. He opened the batting, he struggled. 30 for the captain, Aruna Takun. 12 for Michael Tazera. 1 for Peter Hain, David Hain, who took Sunil's place. 9 for Arunda Rasinga, 7 for Menvin Perez. Tony Opatha went for a duck, 4 for Ajit De Silva. They put on a nice partnership of 28 for the final wicket, which saved Sri Lanka from even more humiliation. 26 not out for Lalith Kulapula and 17 for Ajit De Silva. But we'll talk about the Sunil Wetwemi's injury in a moment and give you more details on it. 0 for 17. They used a couple of pacers, a couple of medium pacers, a couple of part-timers. Sorry, I'm forgetting the names. Sunil Gavaskar, 0 for 17. 1 for 7 for Enkaf Solkar. Anuba Fishnath, good match, 16 for 1. 2 for 15 for Mohinder Amarnath. For Mohinder Amarnath, I always call him Mohamed Amarnath. He's Mohinder Amarnath, 2 for 15. A wonderful, wonderful all-round performance. 2 for 22 for Abid Ali. 15 for 0 for Madan Lal. Brilliant captaincy. 3 for 20 for Shiri Venkatavan, the captain. He bowled superbly. And 1 for 18 for Kashan Garvey. A wonderful performance from India, and it looks like they've truly arrived. And final outcome, Sri Lanka versus India at Leeds. Sri Lanka won the toss, selected to bowl on a green pitch in overcast conditions. India whacked 182 runs in the final 22 overs to score 291 for 7. Sri Lanka all out for 138, their lowest score of the tournament. And that Sunil Wetwemi injury psychologically seems to have done Sri Lanka big time in terms of their batting. India winning by 153 runs. It's India's biggest ever win in one-day internationals. Man of the match with 92 or 66 deliveries and 2 for 15. Mohinder Amarnath, a wonderful all-round performance. This is what it's done to the group table, Group 2. Sri Lanka now 4th on the table. India have climbed to the top by virtue of that thrashing they've given Sri Lanka. Tell you what though, look at that table. Sri Lanka's defeat means that Holland, if they were to cause one of the biggest upset in cricket in history by beating either one of Australia or England, then Sri Lanka's hopes of reaching the quarterfinals would be on a knife edge. They've got to hope that Australia and England absolutely batter Holland into submission. Tomorrow's match, we'll talk about that later. Rebel South African 11 against New Zealand. A win for the Rebel South African, a win for New Zealand would make them the second team to qualify for the World Cup quarterfinals and keep their hopes alive of winning the group. South Africa absolutely in disarray at the moment in terms of their bowling. Their bowlers have just been not a threat in this tournament whatsoever. They'll be hoping for an improved performance against New Zealand. Let's have a look at the star players for India and Sri Lanka in this World Cup. Obviously, Sunil Wetwemi wasn't put down as the star player for Sri Lanka or the star batsman for Sri Lanka, but he was an absolute star. We're going to give you more updates on that injury in a moment. Just going to save the archives and just see where the averages are for India and Sri Lanka. All the 20 star players in which we picked before the tournament. Well, let's have a look at that. That average has gone up. Let's have a look at the Sri Lankan averages now. He's averaging 24 now. Michael Tezera averaging 24, 150, 73 runs in 4 innings. He's had a poor tournament so far. And 6 wickets in 4 matches for Somachara De Silva. His average has now gone up to 33 with a bat. He's now got his first average with a ball. 33 with a ball, sorry. His average with a bat is 4 by virtue of his poor stroke today. To get out. As for the Indian players, first real decent score for Farooq Engineering at 32 off 16 deliveries, so his average has now gone up to 22. He's got 45 runs in 2 innings. He didn't bat, remember, against the Dutch, and he got 13 against Australia. 2 wickets for Abid Ali. He's got 4 wickets in 3 matches, an average of 21. His average is 14 with the bat now. So his average has just gone down. In fact, I think it's gone up slightly. 16 was his highest score, so his average with a bat has gone up, but he's put in for his bowling. Obviously, he's averaging 21 with a ball. It's solid, if not unspectacular. So, just want to talk to you more about that sort of Wetwene injury. He got injured when one of the fast bowlers, I think it was Menvin Perez, bowled him full on the thing. They thought he broke his right big toe, but it looks like now it actually cracked a bone in on the left side of his foot, his metatarsal. And if that is the case, then Sunil Wetwene is out of the World Cup and will not play another game in the tournament for Sri Lanka. And on that performance today, after having scored 274 for 7, 315 for 5, and obviously they chased down 181 in just 22.3 overs against the Dutch, and he's got a 50 in all 3 matches and 254 runs in the tournament. That is such a major blow, and on that performance, that psychologically has damaged Sri Lanka big time. Sri Lanka got England in their final match. England have been in brilliant form in this tournament, so yeah, they've let the door open for Holland. If Holland can cause one of the biggest upset of all time against either England or Australia, then Sri Lanka could be out of the World Cup, and Holland could be the surprise team that go into the quarterfinals. But that's enough for today's match. Tomorrow's match, the Rebel South African 11 against New Zealand. Rebel South African 11's bowlers have been poor throughout the tournament. Their batting's been okay, if not unspectacular. New Zealand, no, if they win, they will be the second country to qualify for the World Cup quarterfinals, and they'll keep their hopes alive of winning Group 1. So until then, this is me, Lawrence Howard, reporting on the 1975 Cricket World Cup on Brian Lara Cricket on PlayStation. We'll see you for the match report between the Rebel South African 11 and New Zealand tomorrow. Until then, bye-bye everyone.